What's going on, YouTube? Thomas out here. In this Friday is the new Tyler Perry film Nobody's Fool, which stars Tiffany Haddish, Tika Sumpter, Omari Hardwick, and it also has Whoopi Goldberg, who's kind of a legend. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg's been around for a while. Right now, she's pretty much best known for hosting The View. But I think she's better in movies than she is on The View. Right? But yeah, I mean, Whoopi Goldberg shows that she could do more than just straight up comedies. I mean, she's actually a pretty talented actress, and she's movies in the past. So, with that being said, here is my top 10 favorite Whoopi Goldberg films. Let me. All right, coming in at number 10 will be 1996's film The Associate, which stars Whoopi Goldberg as a businesswoman who's trying to make it, but unfortunately she works at a investment firm where she does all the work, but all the senior investors, grab all the credit. Then she, leaves and start her own firm while trying to find other clients. And she pretends that she has a male partner named Robert Cuddy, and she starts to do well, or like with all her clients who now wants to meet the partner who actually doesn't exist. So it's actually pretty decent film. Now, besides Whoopi Goldberg, it also had people like Diane Weiss, Tim Daly was in this. Oh, and not to mention, believe it or not, Donald Trump had a cameo in this. So Whoopi Goldberg always, is a Trump critic, but back in the day, she was actually in two movies that featured Trump. This, and she was also in Little Rascals, which had a Trump cameo. So, but I mean, of course, this was way before like Trump became president. Also, I I mean, it was pretty funny seeing Trump pop up in movies like this or Home Alone 2. But anyway, back to The Associate. This movie was pretty decent. Whoopi Goldberg I thought was amazing. This movie, had a good message to it. It's actually a really decent film. It got released in 1996, and I think came out ahead of its time. I think this movie would have probably been even better if it got released today. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen The Associate, I highly recommend it. It's pretty decent. All right, coming in at number 9 is kind of more of a guilty pleasure of mine, and that's this. Let me hold the. And that's this basketball film she did a few years ago, called Eddie. Let me hold the. Eddie also got released in 1996, and it's kind of a guilty pleasure. It's not a great film, but it has some pretty funny scenes in it. I mean, besides Goldberg, this film also had Dennis Farina, Frank Langella, Richard Jenkins. And I mean, Whoopi Goldberg plays the title of Eddie, who is a New York limo driver and a father of the New York Knicks, which is the professional basketball team. And the team is struggling with a medical record when in mid-season the new owner, who's a public relation gimmick, stages an honorary coach, which Eddie wins. So she pretty much becomes the coach of the basketball team. I mean, This movie also came out ahead of its time. It's actually a pretty decent basketball film worth checking out. You know, Whoopi Goldberg was pretty funny in it. The basketball scenes in this was pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen Eddie, give it a go. It's not that bad. All right, coming in at number 8 is a film called Homer and Eddie, which teamed Whoopi Goldberg with Jim Belushi. Now that was kind of a funny team up. I mean, you like Belushi and Goldberg would never really expect them to pair with each other, but it kind of worked well. It was pretty much about a mentally disabled man who gets help from a psychopath when he tries to reunite with his dying father, who years earlier he disowned him. Jim Belushi plays the disabled man, while Whoopi Goldberg plays the psychopath, and it's pretty funny. Whoopi Goldberg and Jim Belushi, I thought both had good chemistry with one another. You even had people like John Waters was in this, and Ramsey for all you Goonies fans. Yeah, this is a classic comic. Got released in 1989, and it doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, but it's actually a pretty funny little film. All right, coming in at number 7 will be a film called Burglar. Now, let me pull the year. Now, this film was released in 1987, and it's a pretty funny crime caper comedy. Now, this is a hype of Whoopi Goldberg's. Let me pull someone. And it also has the likes of Bobcat Goldthwait. It also had John Goodman. And Whoopi Goldberg pretty much plays a burglar named Bernie Rodenbaugh, who is a burglar by trade, and she runs a bookstore as well. And her friend Carl is like a dog groomer. And after a successful burglary, it's discovered that a dead body was in the house that she burglarized, as she's the only one who can pretty much place the scene at the crime. So she has to use her criminal skills to clear her name of the murder and avoid getting charged with burglary. It's pretty funny, Whoopi Goldberg really did a pretty good job here. This is also more of a guilty pleasure, but it's actually a decent guilty pleasure. There's some funny scenes in this. Whoopi Goldberg was amazing. If you guys haven't seen Burglar, I highly recommend it. It's not a great movie by any means, but it's actually pretty decent. All right, coming in at number 9 is Girl Interrupted. Now, this is more of a drama, like the dramatic role of her career. She pretty much plays the worker inside that mental institution that also features people like Winona Ryder, Angelina Jolie, which won Jolie her first Oscar. The late Brittany Murphy was in this. Girl Interrupted is fantastic. Whoopi Goldberg, I thought, gave a pretty decent performance in this. This movie is usually hard to watch at times, but it's incredible. If you guys still haven't seen Girl Interrupted, check it out. I think you'll probably enjoy it. Coming in at number 5 is the 1986 film Jumpin' Jack Fish. Now, this film is also more of a guilty pleasure. Besides Whoopi Goldberg, it had people like Stephen Collins way before we found out he was a pedophile. John Wood, Carol Kane was in this. It was also directed by Laverne and Shirley star Penny Marshall. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg pretty much plays a character named Terry who works for a bank and uses computers to communicate with clients all over the world. Yes, there was computers back in the days. But anyway, one day she gets a coded message from an unknown source. After decoding the message, Terry becomes embroiled in a ring that where people are killed, and Terry is chased throughout. She remains in like contact with this unknown person who needs Terry's help to save his life. And the lead is Stephen Collins, who, well, of course, like I said, this right now Stephen Collins is who's of course best known for Seventh Heaven, and but right now he's kind of more of a pedophile, if you want to call it there. But he was actually pretty decent in this. Whoopi Goldberg was, of course, good. This movie is really hilarious. If you guys haven't seen Jumpin' Jackfish, it's not really Penny Marshall's best work or anything. That honor, of course, goes to League of Their Own. But Jumpin' Jackfish is definitely worth checking out. All right, coming in at number 4 is pretty much a voiceover work, and that will be The Lion King. Now, Whoopi Goldberg voices one of the hyenas in this, and her as one of the hyenas was hilarious. And Lion King, of course, is arguably one of my favorite anime movies of all time. It's just fantastic. And the voice cast in this are just incredible. Besides Goldberg, you're talking Matthew Broderick, James Earl Jones, Cheech Marin, loads of good voices in this. And I also can't wait for the remake of Lion King when that gets released. But yeah, the original Lion King is just definitely one of the best anime movies of all time. And Goldberg, she was pretty decent in it too. I mean, she voiced the character like one of the hyenas, which I really dig the hyenas in that. They always kind of cracked me up when they were on screen here. All right, coming in at number 3 is Sister Act, where of course Whoopi Goldberg plays a nun here. I recently did my 10 favorite nun movies because of when the nun was released, and Sister Act was in that list. It's a '90s classic. Whoopi Goldberg was incredible. You had Maggie Smith way before Harry Potter and Downton Abbey. Yeah, Sister Act is it has some pretty good music to it. It's definitely a classic. If you guys still haven't seen Sister Act, give it a go. And of course, they also did like a sequel to it, few years after this, which was Sister Act 2, which was good. I remember hearing that we might be getting another Sister Act down the line. So if they do another Sister Act, I'm down for it. Especially if Whoopi Goldberg returns, that will be pretty cool to see. All right, coming in at number 2 would be The Color Purple, which was, of course, directed by one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, Steven Spielberg. This movie is a pretty like a tearjerker, and I think Whoopi Goldberg scored her first Oscar nomination for this, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I mean, well deserved too. It's definitely one of Whoopi Goldberg's best performances of her career. Besides Goldberg, you even had Oprah Winfrey way before the Oprah Winfrey Show. You even had Danny Glover. He was incredible in this. And plus, they did a Broadway show of it with Cynthia Erivo, which was I haven't seen the Broadway show, but heard good things about that. But the movie is a classic. It had really good performances. And it's definitely a heartbreaking film to watch. If you watch The Color Purple, to warn you, you're gonna need tissues when you're watching this because it will tear you up. All right, coming in at number one would be Ghost. Now, this is actually the film that won Whoopi Goldberg her first Oscar. Well deserved too. I thought Whoopi Goldberg as like the psychic in this was really hilarious. I mean, I really dug the lines that Whoopi Goldberg's used in this. And of course, Ghost had Patrick Swayze. You know, Demi Moore was really amazing. Ghost is a '90s classic. It's such a good romance film. Has of course good performances. Yeah, amazing. If you guys still haven't seen Ghost by now, I highly recommend it. It's definitely a '90s classic film worth checking out. I really did like my 10 favorite Patrick Swayze movies, and Ghost ended up on that list. And it's also one of my favorite Goldberg films because Goldberg is she was amazing in this movie. And yeah, definitely check out Ghost. It's amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my 10 favorite Whoopi Goldberg movies. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Associate. Number 9, Eddie. Number 8, Homer and Eddie. Number 7, Burglar. Number 6, Girl Interrupted. Number 5, Jumpin' Jack Fish. Number 4, The Lion King. Number 3, Sister Act. Number 2, The Color Purple. And number 1, Ghost. Now, Goldberg's been in a few other films. Let me put the honorable mention list. This week she's in a movie with Tyler Perry. That's directed by Tyler Perry, but she actually worked with Tyler Perry once in Color Purple, no, not Color Purple, for Color Girls. That's the name. The one that she did with Janet Jackson. Good little film. Oh, she was also in that 9/11 movie with Charlie Sheen. Do not watch that because that movie is not a good film. Let's see. Oh yeah, she was also in Medea Goes to Jail. Descendants she appeared in. How Stella Got Her Groove Back is a good one. Ghosts of Mississippi. Bogus. Boys on the Side's pretty good. The Player she was in. Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, and she was also, I already mentioned this, but she was also in the Little Rascal. She didn't have like a big role. She mostly had like a little cameo in the Little Rascals. That movie kind of had like cameos by Whoopi Goldberg. They even had a cameo by Trump. So lots of funny pop-ups in the Little Rascals. I love the Little Rascals, by the way. That's a childhood favorite of mine. But yeah, let me leave it to you guys. What are your favorite Whoopi Goldberg movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas Ellis signing out.